welcome to another episode of Unpopular Podcast featuring Larry Downs, James Seeloff, and me.
Boo, boo. I think he's gay.
What are you, my dad now?
He really disappoints me.
That one time you wore a skirt for $20 in middle school? Aw.
Gay. Oh, hey, what is up, everyone, and welcome to the newest episode of Unpopular, the pop culture podcast. Nick gave us the rundown of all the hosts. He did all the work for me, so now my rhythm's off. I'm like, what? How do I even start this thing?
I feel like this one is just going to start out, it's going to be a standalone cursed episode because Nick did the intro, but it's one that I'm going to thoroughly enjoy.
Good. So, I'm glad, and hopefully you all enjoy it too. Let me check our microphone really quick to make sure that you can all hear James. And you could. One time I messed that up, and for the first 10 minutes, the microphone was only facing me, so James sounded terrible.
Well, that's probably a good thing because, I mean, it's probably best if nobody hears my voice anyway.
People might think that we just have bad audio or audio technical difficulties, but it's just me sabotaging you guys, because mine always sounds perfect. I don't know what the deal is.
It's almost as if you're the only one who has anything worth saying.
That's right. I you know what? I believe that's true. No,
if anyone's a saboteur, it would be me. At least this time, before we even hit record, I put the headphones on.
That's right. And if Nick messes up, it's all Nick's fault because he pressed the wrong buttons. You know.
Speaking of messing up,
people have messed up majorly with what we're talking about today.
Done goofed. And we're not necessarily breaking down both things. We're going to talk about a TV show and a movie today. We're not going to go through every single episode or breaking them down all the way. The main idea for today is, why does big Hollywood hate Resident Evil fans so much? Because we're talking about the Netflix series that came out recently and Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. And I can only get the feeling that big Hollywood fucking hates us, despite how much money we give them.
Well, the thing is, though, Raccoon City, that wasn't necessarily... That seemed like a smaller budget thing. Right?
Sure, but it was still a Sony picture.
Was it? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it totally
of course, they were going to be like, no, you need to give us money.
I don't, it's just like, when you look at it, when you watch the movie, it just feels so cheap.
The CGI is terrible. Me and Nick were talking about this the other day.
It feels like a really, 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 really good student film.
Sure.
Yeah, okay,
A bunch of boys that loved Resident Evil and that put all their heart into it. But for, like, a big box office thing...
That's exactly, like, it was... I want to say that if it was its own standalone fan-made film, like, not necessarily parody, but, like, a kind of, like, a tribute film...
It'd be more of a gem.
It would be fantastic.
Because, but we're like, no, you have millions of dollars. Right. Why did this happen?
To me, it was kind of like the same thing that I got remember Mortal Kombat Rebirth way back in the day?
Is that the second?
No, Rebirth was like it was a fan-made short. It was like, it had Baraka and Johnny Cage in it, and it was like a total reimagination of how things would be. Like, there's no, like, fantastical elements and stuff. So Rebirth... it was fun because it was just a weird, just an outrageous take on something, on a well-established franchise.
Okay.
And I liked that this was kind of like that. Like, all the characters are so jacked off. Like,
they were all jacked off,
dude,
baby.
We'll talk about that. Like,
Jax so many, with the metal arm?
Jax has jacked. They were all jacked off. They were totally jacked off.
That's dangerous.
Those bionic arms, man.
Don't let him grab your wiener. Do not let Jax
Why would I
grab
let Jax grab my wiener anyway?
Hey, dude, it's 2023.
Well,
homie grips harder than a hospital sock.
They did such a bad... They just jacked up, like, all the characters in Raccoon City. Like, well, not all of them. Some of them, like Chris, I felt like he was pretty much spot on.
So we'll get into that in a second. I agree with you 100%, and I would like to rebuttal a little bit too, or add to that. But like I said, we're talking about the Resident Evil series from Netflix and Welcome to Raccoon City. And, like, why does big Hollywood hate Resident Evil fans so much? I just think about this. Like, and Welcome to Raccoon City, I think, sadly enough, is
the closest thing to what we want out of a Resident Evil movie, out of everything that we've gotten so far, and it's still not even close to what we want.
Yeah, it's very true.
It has all the elements. It's got everything there, but just the way it went about, anyway. But yeah, me and James have been playing a lot of Resident Evil lately. I rebought 4, and I'm sure anyone that's been listening has been well aware. We've been talking about it. I would just like to say that I got S rank on professional the other day, and I now have the Chicago typewriter. So I have I'm one step closer to an S+ rank in professional, which that means I have to beat the game in 4.5 hours without any bonus weapons, or I can't let anything carry over, because like usually you can let all your items carry over. Yeah. But for an S+ you can't. No.
So the Chicago typewriter, that's the not submachine gun. It's the Tommy gun, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not that great, because I mean, like, I had the infinite rocket launcher, and I played the game 4 times now, so I just walk into a room, go poof, 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 into the next room, poof, 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 onto the next room.
It doesn't really lose its novelty.
No. So
you put in the work for the first run. Might as well get your jolly.
The first couple runs, trust me, I was throwing a fucking fit when I was playing on hardcore mode, trying to get an A rank. And it was just like, there's a couple parts. I don't know if you guys remember 4 enough to tell me your least favorite part of the game, but I can definitely say one of my least favorite part, I can think of 2 off the top of my head that I hate doing, and it's the minecart part, where you're with Luis and you're in the mines on the cart and you're moving through the tracks and you have to shoot all the bad guys that are on their carts and shit.
Sure. Yeah.
And then there's chainsaw guys and carts. Yeah. And I hate it. It's just obnoxious. And
that's the part that's almost it feels almost like a rail shooter.
Yeah, very much so. You have to use the one particular weapon. You can't use your weapons. And the part where there's the 2, I forget the name of them. They're the blind guys with the claw hands.
You gotta ring the bell.
Yeah, but there's 2 of them in a room, and there's a ton of bad guys in the room that keep respawning.
Yeah.
You know, more to show up. So you're just like constantly running around, getting one shot in.
I love that one. I love shit like that.
I
love it. That's like one of my favorite things. Like, there's certain things that I definitely do hate about
They're just hard to replay.
Yeah, they are.
They're not your favorite parts.
No, yeah, it's just, but overall, 4 probably has obviously the best replayability.
Hands down. I think it's the best Resident Evil. The best Resident Evil. What are you going to say?
In my opinion, the best one to, in quotation, to play with a buddy. It's more of an action buddy flick than it is Resident Evil. But 2-player in 5, you're gonna have a blast with your boys.
It's fun. What are you gonna say? You had something.
Because for so long I was like, a traditionalist, and I had a soft spot for 3 for a very long time.
Yeah,
Nemesis was really cool, but
cool.
But now that they have come this far, like and what they've done, 4 is still. I mean, it's probably...
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean...
and the remake is so good.
Yeah, but I mean, the first
Resident Evil 1 HD remake for GameCube is probably my second favorite.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like, that really hit the fucking high note, like, because it had the same kind of, like, fixed camera angles and everything.
Right.
And it fucking hit all the spots, man. And Jill was hot.
All right.
Face metal for Jill was hot.
Always. All right, off the top of your guys' head, top 3 Resident Evil games. From 3 to 1. I'll start
first.
I'll say it first so you guys have a second to think.
Switching to Larry.
Yeah, so I think my 3rd spot would be Resident Evil 7, because that was the first Resident Evil in a long time that was actually scary.
Yeah.
It was that first person, it was in your face and aggressive. What a phenomenal way to change the game for future, games in the series or whatever.
Yeah, I'm too scared to play it.
Exactly.
Try to get me. Hell no, I'm especially not doing the VR shit. No, thank you.
And then,
dude, I gotta play it in VR.
I want to play it in VR, but I'm not a rich boy. Not yet.
One of these days.
If I were a rich man. So my second number 2 spot would be the HD remake of 1, and then number 1 would be 4.
Okay.
I don't even want to throw remakes into the mix because, like, let's just keep it simple here.
Okay,
You know,
all right.
because it's kind of hard to compete with the remakes.
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
It's just, I mean, it's like they're...
It's a new game.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
you can't really compare. I'd have to say, for me... yeah, it would have to be the first remake, like, or just...
As your number one?
Yeah, just, it's
Okay.
fucking good, man. And
Okay.
then, yeah, probably 4 and then 3.
Okay.
Okay, this is going to be a bit of a hot take, and I think Larry already knows.
You just
where
hot
I'm
take to
going
piss
with
me off. I feel it.
this. He knows where I'm going with this.
All right, where are you going?
Okay.
He's going to go with, like, Veronica.
He's going to say some shit about Code Veronica.
Or Code Veronica. I knew it.
Close, but wrong.
Okay.
I do have a special place in my heart for Code Veronica, just because I played that myself and with a handful of other friends trained off the controller, including you, Larry.
It had cool enemies. I'll give you that.
It was a very broken game where if you didn't have a certain item at a certain part, you could not progress and you had to basically restart.
You need the fire extinguisher when you go on the plane. If you don't put the fire extinguisher with you on the plane, you're fucked. You can't beat the game, basically.
I feel like there's a key, too, or something that you needed once you got to, like, Antarctica or Alaska.
There's a couple dead ends in that
game. Would definitely kill. That's a game killer right
there.
It's
terrible
You don't
idea.
want to start her.
It's a terrible idea.
That's fucking awful.
I read all the books. I enjoyed Code Veronica, the book, as well as playing along. I'm a huge Nemesis fan, so there's a soft spot for 3.
What's your ranking? What's your number 1?
Okay,
What's your number 2?
Okay. I think the best, hands down, Resident Evil game, not to write off the coattails, but is 4. It really brought so many people into the fold that weren't there prior.
Yeah.
You're ditching the shitty tank controls that put a lot of people off, even though they were curious about Resident Evil prior to.
There's hipsters out there that are like, oh, you just can't play the tank controls. They're just fine. It's like, look, you get used to them after playing for an hour or two, but it's not great.
Right,
you know? It's not ideal.
I mean, it is
not user-friendly.
No.
But that was kind of like it was a weird part of the appeal for Resident Evil.
It adds to the horror.
Yeah, it
you
does.
You feel helpless. You're like, ugh.
Right.
That's my frustration when you hit that corner and it changes camera angles, then you end up going back and forth between the two camera angles because your movement changes as you change rooms.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It's like,
It's infinitely frustrating, but it was just kind of part of the charm of the game. It added to the danger element, and like those blind corners and stuff were really scary, you know?
Yeah.
Code Veronica has a soft spot. It's got the Bandersnatches. However, very broken game. I will say 4 is probably the strongest appeal. I haven't played the remake, but from what you guys have been telling me and what I've been seeing online, it's the bee's knees. And the game was already the bee's knees, so it can only be, glitter and glam.
Does that upgrade it to the cat's pajamas?
Yeah,
I like 3. I haven't played through 3 myself, but I used to watch a elderly family member play it, and he was actually my introduction to Resident Evil, was watching my nephew's grandpa.
All right, so you're 4 Code Veronica 3?
Honestly, my favorite one
He's dancing around it too much.
I
He's
know.
There is no discernible 1, 2, 3.
You've had 30 years to decide this.
One of my favorites that I had the most fun with was 5, because I always played it co-op.
Dude,
and
we
it's
played...
It's more action heavy, it's less scary, and I know that put a lot of people off, because it's like, this is a buddy...
It's Call of Duty.
It's a 2-player buddy cop Resident Evil feel, but it's such a great game to like stay up all night with your boy and just play all the way through.
The day it came out, Nick came over to my house and we sat in my room in the dark and played it for a good half the day or something like that.
And I think our first general reaction was, this game's sweet, but why is Africa so poor if we're finding all this treasure?
Right. There's all this treasure and money everywhere. Every dead person has over $200 on them. Like, what's going on here?
Oh, God.
You guys are going to hate me. And I'm sure, hopefully not all 21, 22 of our viewers.
I'm sorry,
25.
We just got 4 new subscribers the other day.
Guys really do love us.
They do. They loved my short video.
Oh, that was it.
They
See,
did.
I thank God, because if I knew that it was anything concerning me, I'd have a fucking panic.
Well, James is stressing out. I told him, I'm like, dude, we had a video that had over 1,400 views.
Probably.
It had 61 likes, and you're like, that's great. Yeah, I'm like,
my face is out there.
Relax, it's a good thing. So thank you everyone for watching.
It's
and
very
liking
sweet
and
of you.
subscribing.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. I'll try to make
Now
more of those.
James and I feel like the weakest links to the chain.
Well, you better start making some relevant Nick YouTube shorts.
No, we're doing some Tic Tac.
Hey, sauce is relevant.
Oh my god.
Wow, baby, I've got heated opinions.
You guys are lucky I even left the sauce talk in the last couple episodes so people even know what we're talking about.
It made the cut. It
made
made
it.
the cut. Okay, here's my hottest take. Hotter than any sauce.
Okay.
Terrible game. It was way too short. It was Gears of War over the shoulder, but it was so refreshing to have a different perspective.
He's talking about 5?
Refreshing, like...
You still talking about 5?
You know, he's
Fuck you,
talking about...
Larry. I'm talking about Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City.
He just likes hunk.
Oh.
He just likes hunk. I mean,
You know, I never
It
played.
is fun.
I
It is
never-
a little fun. I revisited it when I started streaming a couple years ago, and I probably only played the first level or two, but seeing if I wanted to stream it, and I decided against it.
It's bad. It's Gears of War with a Resident Evil skin.
Yeah.
But it was just so much fun to have that extra perspective of like, we're familiar with all these events that have gone down, but
Right.
we've never experienced it from the perspective of Umbrella personnel.
Right.
That
Right,
just
okay.
hit hard for me. I was like, oh, you're kind of the gray area.
And I think we all want more hunk. And like these guys we were having a conversation about hunk not that long ago. And like, hunk needs his own movie. I'm like, chill the fuck out for a second.
He just
Chill
needs some
out.
more. He needs.
He does need more.
He's like the Boba Fett of Resident Evil.
He was in Operation or Welcome to Raccoon City, right? Or at least we're
I-
assuming it was hunk.
Yeah, that was such a shitty cameo, man.
What else is he gonna get? What else is Hunk gonna
because
get?
it's like he has a mission to do in the game. You know, he's not just a guy that's on the perimeter guarding the see if people are passing through.
I mean, he really is, though, until we saw Operation Raccoon City and we see the man behind we don't see the man behind the mask. And it could be a woman.
No, because
It
there's a
could be a
lady
woman.
Lady Hunk and the one of the seafaring Resident Evil.
Hunkette?
Yes, no, it's actually Lady Hunk. It's in Revelation. It's
Hunkus.
Hunkette.
Lady Hunk is not canon, but we'll take her.
Will someone
Gladly.
please draw a fan art of a muscular Lady Hunk for me, please? Like,
We're describing James' perfect woman.
exactly.
Right?
The gas mask stays on.
The military
The red
uniform
lenses
and
stay on during sex.
yes.
So let's go into, and like I said, we're not going to break it all down. I want to start talking shit about the Netflix series before we get too deep into everything. And let me just start by saying, let me just ask your guys' thoughts going into it. I know James didn't watch it. I only watched parts of it, and Nick watched all of it.
I did watch all of it. It was many months ago. I haven't revisited, unlike Welcome to Raccoon City, which I just watched 2 nights ago.
We're going to breeze over the Netflix series because we all kind of glazed over it. I tried rewatching it the last 2 days, and I only got 4 episodes in, and I'm like, I hate this show. I absolutely hate it. So
Larry brought up an excellent point that kind of put me in my place. I was like, took me a second, but I was like, no, you're totally right. This literally, the Resident Evil show literally could have been any post-apocalyptic show or zombie show, but with like an Umbrella logo filter just put over it.
if you didn't call it Resident Evil, if you didn't name the people the Resident Evil character names,
it could have been anything.
It could have been anything. It reminds me more, honestly, of Land of the Dead than anything, because everyone's in that like post-apocalyptic gear, their outfits, they're in like fortress cities,
upgraded and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's in the future. I think it's like 2066 or something like that. The show jumps around from like a modern day time that takes place after the original events of Raccoon City, because this is New Raccoon City. The show is actually split up into 2 parts. One part is the characters, the main protagonist girl and her sister, while they are young, first moving into New Raccoon City with their dad, Albert Wesker. And then the other half of the show takes place in the future when she's an adult, studying zombies, on the run from Umbrella, yada, yada, yada. And let me just say that it all just feels so lame. Like New Raccoon City, like Nick said, this show, it could be anything. The younger side of the show, it just feels like a teen drama to me. Or it feels like a Riverdale. Just these
took me so out of it. Like,
these teens are such good detectives.
Don't fucking matter. I don't want a teen drama as my Resident Evil series.
It's lame, and although he's not my Wesker, Lance Reddick, who passed away recently, rest in peace. You're a great actor. He actually he performed very well, but it's like he wasn't Wesker.
Here's the thing. I mean, knowing him and his acting chops, I would even be open to the idea of him being Wesker. But because Wesker, he in the games he has that very kind of cold and collected attitude.
Right?
He's very closed off. He was more. I could see him being more that Wesker than the Wesker that was in Welcome to Raccoon City.
Disagree,
okay.
But I respectfully agreed to disagree.
I think both are in the wrong in their own way, but both have a hint of Wesker. They both have like a sliver of Wesker.
I can agree with that. They both have traits.
But my problem is, and I've been saying this for a while about the Resident Evil movies or shows, whatever, it's like, these are shallow characters. We were just talking about this.
Right.
Resident Evil is not Shakespeare, okay? Mm-hmm. These are shallow characters, and that's all you have to deliver to me. You have to just deliver this shallow character that looks like the character from the game, have them going through the events of the show. I don't need development from any of them. I don't need backstory. I don't need a description. Just like, that's not why I like Resident Evil, And
they are just merely vessels to keep the story moving.
Right, and so when you add too much dialogue, too much emotion, whatever, you're too involved with them, you have a whole story wrapped around them, you have to develop that character, and it's going to feel odd, because that's not the character that we're used to, because the character we're used to is not developed whatsoever.
No, but I mean, that's not to say that you can't develop them a little bit, but like...
But it feels out of place. But you have a harder time.
You can do it a certain way, and they're not hitting the mark.
Right, because like, in Welcome to Raccoon City, Chris and Claire, I think they nailed it because they are one-note characters.
Yeah.
They're simple characters, and we don't have to get into some crazy backstory, and they look like the characters from the game.
Yeah.
And, like, that's all I need, dude. If you could do that with everyone in every show, in every movie, and just focus on making it like Resident Evil, I think you would be 100 times more successful. Because this series is already canceled for a second season. It's done.
I'm not at all surprised.
So, like I said, the story takes place over those 2 parts. In the beginning part where they're kids and it's a teen drama, it's basically the development of the virus, the T virus, Wesker using it on his daughter to basically keep her alive while it's still experimental, and obviously that's not going to go well, but it ends up turning out okay for her. She ends up getting like superpowers like Wesker and shit, even though it seemed like she was going to turn into a zombie.
So far in the film and TV series, the only like 3 characters that were successfully able to bond with the T or G virus or whatever it was Milla Jovovich's character Alice, was the daughter of Wesker, and Albert Wesker himself in the games.
Right.
No, wait a minute.
Well, no, Wesker's son too. I think in 6.
He was in Resident Evil 6.
Well, in the movies too. I think it was in Apocalypse. So didn't the head programmer's daughter also have?
It's what saved her, right?
No, she actually was infected on a massive level, but she had no symptoms. I remember in Apocalypse that was...
Oh, she was a carrier, but she wasn't.
Yeah, because Alice identified her as being infected.
That was the dude in the wheelchair's daughter, right?
Yes.
That fucking nerd.
That guy is such a fantastic actor. I love him in everything he's in. If you guys have not had a chance to watch the Hulu series on Chernobyl...
Chernobyl, yes!
He's
perfect
in
dude.
it.
I fucking
and also
love that.
The Terror, first season of The Terror.
I wanted to check that out. With they're the Arctic, right? And it's like a bear.
You think there's like a mythological creature? It's just a big fucking bear.
But it's like it's a fucked up bear though. It's a fucked up.
His name is Jared Harris.
Yeah, Jared Harris. Yeah, he's awesome.
J.H. my boy.
You know, he was in Morbius.
I was literally about to say he was in Morbius.
He was in Morbius.
I'm sure that was probably the best part of the movie then.
He was in the Poltergeist reboot. He was in Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, he's in a lot of good shit, man. I love that guy.
He was in the Poltergeist reboot?
Yeah.
I saw that. That's when they fly the drone into the TV or into the netherworld or neither world. That's Beetlejuice.
Lost in Space too.
The new Lost in Space he was in?
The 98.
The movie.
The movie from 98. Yeah.
Ooh, with Joey from Friends.
His mask flips up. How you doing?
How you doing? We got some robots.
Some bugs and spiders in here. So
how you doing?
Anyway, in the future, what's her name? The character's name. I feel so bad.
Which character?
From the Resident Evil Netflix series. I can't even remember her name because I'm just like, yeah, it sucked. I hated her. It was stupid. Here I got it.
Angsty little Billie Eilish
Jade,
bitch.
Jade, and she's a tough girl with a mohawk and a cool red one-piece uniform, and like I just hated her so much.
And she ain't taking no shit from any boy.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's not for the boys.
I gotcha.
Just kidding. But she was bad. I just hated her as a character. I thought she was a lame main character, and just the way they went about this show, it just felt so off and just not Resident Evil. Like I said, it felt more like Land of the Dead or like Mad Max or Walking Dead. It just didn't have that grounded part of Resident Evil.
I thought it was entertaining and watchable, but as far as Resident Evil lore and canon, I was just every moment I'm like, excuse me, this is wrong.
Yeah, and I was telling James the only good thing about the show is that it really showcased the monsters of the series. We saw the big alligator. We saw the big spider. We saw the
that
big
idea.
Plenty of liquors.
Yeah, the liquor, the big worm.
Yeah, the big gravedigger.
Gravedigger in the first episode.
Yeah,
and that's the one thing that I could probably crave the most out of a Resident Evil series is we want to see more BOWs and stuff.
Yeah,
and just. But the thing is, though, I want to build up for something like that. If we're gonna do like a Resident Evil series, what I would like to see is just something that is just exclusively zombies right from the
start
get.
At the mansion.
Yeah, start at the mansion.
That's all you gotta do.
And I think that it would be best that we just left it with nothing but zombies for like the first season. Mm-hmm. And then from there, it's like later on they start discovering other shit, like the more crazy BOWs. And then from there, it's like, oh, fuck.
Well, other than Tyrant, I mean, in the first Resident Evil, it was just zombies.
It was zombies.
That game was scary.
There was big spiders.
There was some big
spiders.
Yeah,
there's a big snake. There's the big snake.
Yeah, there's like other BOWs, but I like the idea of them, introducing more stuff like that later. They should still have it in the mansion. Don't get me wrong, but like, I still
maybe pick one.
Yeah.
Just do one and don't have it be a major thing.
Right,
Just have it be like this thing got into the shit.
Right,
and it's just something that we have to segue.
And it's kind of like a thing where they kind of might allude to this thing might have passed through and this guy got fucking munched by this giant snake.
Right. And so the other interesting thing or thing I just want to bitch about the Netflix series is that I feel like they just threw names in there to be in there. Like so many names from the series. You're like, oh, it's not the character at all, but they gave him the name of this character. Like,
and
why?
And it's like,
other than to just lie to us to try to get us in there. You know?
Here's the thing, like, okay. Why did the show hate Leon so much? Or why did the movie hate Leon?
Why? Okay, so let's wrap up really quick.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
no,
sorry. That was
because I would love to talk about the struggles. So the Resident Evil Netflix series. If you want to check it out, go check it out. I don't think any of us would really suggest it. I mean, Nick probably would because he's the most optimistic out of all of us and be like, just give it a shot. You know, you might enjoy it.
It's fun, it's entertaining, but if you're looking for something accurate that depicts Resident Evil, it's it's not your bag, but as a post-apocalyptic show that could literally take place in any universe,
anywhere.
Sure, it was fun, it was entertaining, the action was well paced with all this boring teen drama bullshit. But if you can get through the teen drama bullshit, there's some cool creature stuff.
Yeah.
But
it's a lot. It's a lot of muck to go through. It's a lot of muck to go through.
This is my face of optimism. I'm not even saying
gonna have a tough time banging our way through that one.
Dude. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah. So take that as you will, and let's move on to why Hollywood still hates us, because they released Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. This movie came out, what, 2 years ago?
Yes, about 2 years ago, and I enjoyed it more watching it the first time in theaters with you and my mother. I've literally watched every single Resident Evil movie with my mom, and I wasn't even about to see this with you guys if she wasn't invited.
Nick's optimism cannot be crushed, even by me walking out of a theater. He was like, no, it was good. And I'm like, it was
fun.
Okay.
I have such low bar expectations for any movies, any shows, and so I just kind of keep my head up and be like, it was what it was. There was some enjoyable moments, but it's not respectful to the thing that you initially watched it for.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in short, Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. This is done by a guy that has done nothing but B movies up until this point, and it shows.
Yeah, it certainly does.
So we were kind of talking about, if it was kind of like an independent thing, but I still wouldn't say that this is an independent thing. This is the guy who did VHS 99, The Strangers Prey at Night, which I believe is the sequel to The Strangers, 47 Meters Down.
That's the shark one?
Yeah.
He did the first one or the sequel?
The first one, it looks like.
I did see that. Okay.
Oh, he did the sequel as well, Uncaged.
Oh, okay.
47 Meters Down, Uncaged. And that is, I believe his name is Johan Roberts. And, like, you can tell very much that this is a B flick. He wrote it and directed it. And for stars, we don't have any notable stars for this movie, except for, I'd say, Donald Logue.
Yeah, from Gotham.
From so many things. Yeah, he's really great.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He plays
Is
Chief
that William
Irons.
Birkin?
Chief Irons.
Okay.
Birkin is Neil McDonough.
I've seen him in a lot of stuff.
He's been in a ton of shit.
Yeah, I've seen him in a lot of stuff.
He was
too.
in Minority Report. He's one of Tom Cruise's cadets.
Yep.
Or on the force. He's like, "Don't run, Tom Cruise." He's like, "Everybody runs."
Yep, and everyone else is a bunch of like people that I never recognized, never seen a movie. And honestly, these days I kind of look forward to that. I'm like, I don't have an impression of this person, and for such a shallow character like Resident Evil characters, I don't fucking care. I don't need Tom Cruise as Chris Redfield or anything like that. Give me a no-name, shallow, whatever dude to play this character, and that's I'll take it.
Give me Dave Bautista as Chris Redfield just because he looks like he could punch a boulder. Give me that egg.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Leon Kennedy.
Just a beefcake Resident
with the
Evil
fucking
redux.
emo hair.
Right.
Yeah, you just got to emo. Yeah.
So this movie is, like I said before, it's more true to the Resident Evil source material, as it takes place in the mansion.
Well,
what's the name of the mansion?
Squeeze, as we're talking on the phone, it's 1, 2, and 3 condensed into a night, where the Spencer Mansion incident or activities took place a month before RE2 and RE3, which took place over 2 days and kind of crossover plots.
Right, like, because I remember, there was like a gap between the first game, like the mansion incident, and then, 2 and 3,
because the shit's already hit the fan by the time 2 starts.
And that's the thing, like, there's a lot of characters that are absent right out the gate, like Barry, Rebecca, and shit like that. We didn't get any of that.
We didn't get Rebecca Chambers.
We didn't get Rebecca or Barry.
She is a hottie.
She's
Rebecca
cute.
Chambers. I've always been a Rebecca Chambers fan.
Yeah,
I mean, she's no Ada Wong, but I mean that's 2 different flavors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
gotta have your sweet and savory. You know?
Are you sure you don't mean are hot and spicy and a little bit of Asian zing.
Oh.
Okay, if Chris Redfield...
No,
wait a minute,
no. Shit. Rebecca is not hot and spicy. She's more like apple pie, man.
She's a lemon pepper.
Yeah.
No, not even that. Lemon pepper's got too much stank. She's she's honey BBQ and Ada Wong is Asian zing.
I was gonna say Leon is honey BBQ because Leon's a little sweetie too.
I think Leon.
I think Leon's
lemon pepper because he's kind of got like
he's dry.
Yeah, it's just, but hey, I'm a lemon pepper guy too. I identify with Leon,
hair,
man. I'm a Leon guy.
Great hair.
He has got great, fantastic. You know, if I could grow hair, I'd try to fucking
real. I'd say I had Leon's haircut probably at some point in my youth.
Yes, I'd say maybe.
I had for
even
too
recently,
many years.
Probably like you did kind of not.
I always part over.
Yeah, you definitely had like a little bit of Leon thing going on.
All right, so the real question is if Wesker was a Buffalo Wild Wing sauce, what would he be?
What's the hottest one that doesn't taste good? Is just pure heat.
That's blazing.
Yeah,
he's blazing. Because he's a little extra. He's too much.
Okay.
Yeah. He's just
I'd agree with that.
The end all be all.
Or parm garlic, because it's like, yeah, this is cool, but by the end of it, I have second thoughts.
It's a little much,
A little much.
I'd say Thai curry because my butthole is just totally blasted afterwards. He's put me through the ringer,
Yeah.
You feel betrayed.
Yeah. So this movie, like we said, takes place over the course of the 1, 2, and 3 timeline of the games, but kind of mishmashed together. And what's great about Welcome to Raccoon City is that it has kind of all the things. It has the mansion, and the mansion, for the most part, I'd say 75%, looks on point. Because they were actually, there's a little note, they were given the blueprints from Capcom.
Oh, no shit.
To at least recreate the lobby and the hallways and stuff like that. And
that opening scene with the lobby looked like they just took a screen cap from the game and then just tried to force it into high res.
Yeah, the CGI was so terrible, but it at least looked how it was supposed to look, And like the piano room didn't look like how it was supposed to look, but you had the sliding door where the golden crest would be and everything. So they had all this stuff in there. They had Spaghetti Face, the main zombie that you see the first time in the game, and he was in a lab coat, I think, in the movie, which I don't think he was.
No, correct. He was in a lab coat in the movie, and he had more like a tattered overcoat, like a blazer kind of.
He was like a generic outfit.
But with the shitty white face clown makeup, he looked exactly like he did in the original game.
With the blood.
It was
shitty as the original graphics. They captured it.
100% recreated a classic iconic scene,
right,
and it was done really well. So that was fun. They had a lot of things like that.
It had all of the main components of the things that we're looking for, but just in such small amounts, or not quite right, or terrible animation, or
it was part of a scene that overall just wasn't really well executed.
Right, and the whole
very
movie,
fan servicey. Like when in the beginning when they're at the diner, Jill steals Chris or someone's sandwich. She's like, I guess it's a Jill sandwich now, and we're like, remember when that line was said in the early games?
And it's like, I mean, that's okay that you put it in there, but the line is so lame and the delivery is so lame that it's just like, oh, you just threw that in there to make it happen, to make that line happen. It's so forced and so dumb. And it's just
the line in the original game was dumb and lame.
Right.
It was in there. Take it for what you will. Mom's spaghetti sandwich.
It is kind of one of those things that's just so part of part of the the Resident Evil psyche, Jill sandwich, it's just a thing. So
the jokey stuff should be in there because it's what we remember from the game.
Yeah.
But in this movie,
who doesn't want a Jill sandwich?
I would love a Jill sandwich. Hopefully it's not a roast beef sandwich.
Oh God.
But we get all of the characters in this movie. We get Chris, Claire, Ada, Leon,
Brad
Wesker,
Vickers, the helicopter pilot.
Brad Vickers, Chief,
that one
Barry.
guy looked more like Forrest Spear, but it was like Richard Aiken.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some, but they didn't have Barry, and Barry's like, of course, just shit like that. That it was like, but we did get Hunk. We got Hunk,
and we got the Birkins. And what do you got to say? What are you hunking about over there?
was fighting you with this initially, and I'm still fighting with you on this podcast today about this note. I feel like it was a nod towards Hunk.
You think it wasn't?
But Hunk? It was not a Hunk specific nod. I feel like that particular soldier might have been someone that was dispatched in a group as part of Hunk's team at some point. Okay. But Hunk was busy doing more important shit.
I will argue for that.
He's got the red lenses.
I was just gonna say, are you gonna make a point about the red lenses? Because I did notice he didn't have the red lenses.
The outfit was totally different. It was like a gray urban camo.
Yeah, but Jill fatigues. Was also like a totally.
Oh, right.
They race swapped so many people.
But that's such a cosmetic thing. That's because when we see other members of Hunk's squad, like Ghost has like a cracked lens.
Yeah, and but Hunk this is all shallow lenses. Shit. It should all be shallow shit. So like I'm gonna pick on this shallow shit. Like Jill did not. I want Jill Valentine to look like Jill Valentine, damn it. I want her to have the outfit. I want her to have the short brood I want the beret. I want it all.
I want the epaulets on the shoulder.
That's right.
I want that sexy blue cami with the fucking tactical.
Yeah, the weird seams and
it's like the two most important characters, Jill and Leon, they blew it. When the other character, like I said, Chris and Claire, they damn near nailed them because they're so shallow and one-note characters. You don't need much. And Leon is such a fucking loser in this movie.
I know in the book and the games, it was Leon's first day on the job, but I did not like how incompetent they made him.
Oh, dude.
Plus, did they not have a hair straightener lying on set? You didn't have to cut his hair perfectly, but if you straighten that one fucking bang, we'd be so much closer to Leon Kennedy.
Shave the mustache.
I did not. I didn't even care that they made him like Hispanic. It's just they made him. They just didn't care. They shat on him completely.
He's like the star of the show.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, I know like back in the day, like maybe Leon was not the star of the show.
No.
But like at this point, after 7-8 games or more, he's the star.
Yeah, dude. I mean, he's after 4, he. That
he took the limelight,
right, dude. I mean, he was an indelible part of the series, and I'd say that he's probably more popular than Chris.
From the absolutely, and from the time that
he was boulder,
from the time he
can
was
do an emo backflip over it.
He can, and actually he suplexes bad guys now in the remake. If you go up behind him, he just like just suplexes him. But from the time that he fell asleep at the front desk, because they make him sit at the front desk because he's the new guy, and that zombie, because we get the semi-crash scene from the game, I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then the zombie on fire walks in and he's passed out with his headphones on at the desk. From the time he woke up to the rest of the movie, we could have had a really cool Leon happening.
Right.
And skip all of the bullshit beforehand, how he's a loser and everyone picks on him.
He was too busy listening to Crushed.
Yeah,
I know they really hammed out the fact that this took place in 1998.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The soundtrack,
and the technology and stuff,
And then the Nokia playing Snake, Brad Vickers on the phone while he's waiting in the helicopter.
They didn't even have LaBouche in it though. Out of all the 90s songs, you could have put LaBouche in.
Oh yeah.
Wanna be my lover?
Yeah, that is.
Fucking love. We love LaBouche.
That was a missed opportunity there.
That hair, he loves LaBouche.
But all of I like I said, Chief Irons is a fun character.
And that was a funny bit in the Star's office. He's like,
he's
God damn it, Leon! He's like, get it.
What are you doing over here? If no one's at the front desk, what if someone comes in?
It was such a seamless transition between him explaining what the situation was and him just bitching at Leon.
Well, Chief Irons, he was the funnest character.
Yeah, for sure.
He's like packing his shit up and Leon comes, he's like, hey, what's going on? He's like, I don't know. You're the chief now. Yeah. He's like, you're in charge. And
he was kind of fun.
But we see the police area, the police station parking basement, and all of the scenes and stuff, and they
iconic locations and stuff.
Yeah, they loaded this movie with Easter eggs of sets and characters and things. And I think I was complaining to Nick about this. At the end of the day,
That's all the movie was. It was a, hey, look at this.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. And,
fan service grab.
Right, and there was just not enough story, not enough, like, it was too all over the place. Like, pick a setting, just do it, make the characters look and act like they're supposed to, and that's all we want. We've sat through how many Resident Evil movies so far?
Feels like
six.
8. 6? Jesus.
I think 6.
Right, and that's not counting the animated ones and just all of the other nonsense.
I'm just counting Paul W.S. Anderson ones and Milla ones.
The formula is not hard. I know it's easy for us to sit here and bitch about it being easy, but like for Resident Evil, and when it being more, I think Resident Evil is more relevant than ever.
Yeah.
Why are you not putting the time and energy into making a successful, expensive movie that you know is going to make bank if it does well?
When I think about what I want out of a Resident Evil series...
Epaulets.
What?
Epaulets.
Epaulets.
That's all we want. No, continue.
Chilling in a proper uniform, you know? Well, you know, it's kind of a thing where my taste... I like slow burn shit, and I feel like so many people that would be willing to tackle it, they would be like, well, people are just sick of just straight zombie stuff. And to have...
Yeah, I've said it.
Yeah,
before.
and they're not wrong. You know, it gets old after a while. And that's not to say that, there's still shouldn't be, like, you know, the other stuff with the BOWs later on, but...
So, if they were to make a movie, our next... Resident Evil movie, what would you want to see? What would really, and it doesn't have to be the mansion, it doesn't have to be original cast or characters, what would really do it for you, and what do you think they could pull off with a successful Resident Evil movie?
I've expressed this before, but I think the first start, as long as it's going to be more than one movie, the first movie should be solely focused on just the mansion.
Yeah, I can, in some aspects, totally agree. I think I even said that before we even recorded. I'm like, just do the mansion as the first movie,
right,
you know?
right.
Because you have the perfect setup for, like, a haunted house movie, but then it's sci-fi bioterror.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, if it sets up as something where it's just like, you're not even aware of anything wrong until you come across that first encounter.
Right.
That's terrifying, you know?
The mystery surrounding the mansion as they unravel the like there's so much potential, there's so much depth in just the mansion that need to be focused on as just solely the welcome to evil, and you're gonna put 1, 2, and 3 and condense them into one movie as your first movie. Looking forward to making more.
Right.
Like, I just felt like so much was skipped over, so much was condensed and rushed, and you're gonna put in elements of 3 without Nimmy, but you can't just shoehorn Nimmy in because there's no time to give him a proper debut.
When was Nimmy shoehorned in? Are you talking about?
He wasn't even in the movie at all.
But there was elements of 1, 2, and 3, like we discussed on the phone.
So, do you guys think it's too bold of a move and too soon to make an Ethan Winters Resident Evil movie?
Yes.
I think it would be easy to accomplish.
I think that's a great idea. And, I was thinking of something similar where if they made, if they were going to do a Resident, I would like to have like a series, to be honest. Sure. And the first, like, I'd say couple episodes, 4 or 5 episodes, would be encounters with some random mutations where people were disappearing and there were no witnesses. Like, a fucking sewer worker gets eaten up by, or a
giant crocodile.
Yeah, the crocodiles, or like, the fucking Hunter Gammas, or, the grave diggers and shit like that. Like, I would like to see shit like that where these people are getting offed and, like, people are starting to realize, and then there's investigations are opening up, and then finally the incidents that lead up to the mansion, which is like the last couple episodes. I would like to see something like that,
I think because, like you had mentioned it before, that the world is sick of zombies, and I think multiple people have had a chance to and had their hand at these characters and these settings, and maybe it's too scary for a movie studio and for an audience to commit to these characters and settings that have been tried, even if they haven't been done well or tried thoroughly or successfully, maybe it's safer for the next big Resident Evil movie to be a 7, to be an Ethan Winters, where we're starting out fresh, where no one has anything in their mind about any previous movie, characters, settings, anything, and we can just run with the Ethan Winters story, because his story's over.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, I would love to see it purely based on Lady D.
Well, I mean, because I'm stepping back from Village with this statement, because I feel like Village took everything in 7 and cranked it up. So it's a little more over the top. It's a little more out there. So it's a little harder to reach,
weirder, for
I
sure.
think.
Yeah.
You know, that would have to be something that you build up to. As opposed to 7, where you're Ethan Winters sent in to go get your girlfriend who's went missing or stopped talking to you in Louisiana.
Right.
And then shit, just like you said, you have no idea of anything that's wrong till you're in the shit.
Yeah.
And it's happening.
I haven't played, obviously, Resident Evil 7 directly. I watched your streams and I've watched other videos on it relating to the story, main whatever plot points, etc. But where was I going? Shit, where was I going?
Something about 7. You were talking something about 7. You
Something
watched me
about
play 7, but maybe you were going that you haven't had the full experience because you didn't even play 7.
Absolutely.
So maybe that's where your mind was going with it. That you don't have the attachment, the commitment, or the readiness to move on to that character because you're not on a personal level with that character yet.
That's
like
fair.
you are with Jill and Claire and Leon
Absolutely.
and everybody.
And that's the thing with him. He's an even more helpless character than, like, you know, with Jill and Chris and everybody. Yeah, they're trained officers, but Ethan is like.
I remember what I was going to say.
Go for it.
The whole Ethan story and the setup, it kind of reminds me of Jamie Sonderman of Silent Hill 2.
It does have a very Silent Hill
Ethan
vibe.
Hawke's story gives me heavy Silent Hill 2 Restless Dreams vibes.
Ethan Winters.
So I was going to say Ethan Hawke.
Not Ethan Hawke.
As an actor.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry. Ethan Winters, yes.
Yeah,
He kind of looks like Ethan Hawke. I mean, not that you see his face, really.
No, you don't really see his face. Like, yeah,
he could be Ethan Hawke for all we know.
Ethan Hawke's old now.
Yeah, it's not him. But anyway, final thoughts. I mean, where are we at in our episode, Nick? What's our time?
We're 7 minutes away from an hour. We're at 53.
That's good enough for me. Do you guys have any final thoughts
Dude,
before we're gonna walk away?
I'm sorry, but I do.
Okay,
I
lay
feel
it on
like there's
me.
a lot more ground we have to tread.
No. I don't want to step back. I want us to move forward. I want us to. Is there anything that you want to say about everything that we've talked about? Is there anything you would like, just in a short little, wrap it up and put a bow on it?
Okay, here's my thought.
Okay.
A standalone Resident Evil movie that doesn't have to be attached to Paul W.S. Anderson series, or if they're going to make a new series out of Welcome to Raccoon City. I said it to you guys before in the group chat. I know it would be bad, but it's something I want to see. I would love to see an Operation Raccoon City adaptation, because you could peg it, you could advertise it right off the gates as just like a tactical action movie. You could maybe get one of the directors from that show SWAT. I hate police and crime drama shows, but SWAT's got all the tactical shots. And I would love to see Hunk and his boys, infiltrating and doing Umbrella's dirty cleanup work. And you could even make it as bad but over the top as the first Suicide Squad movie. Because that's how I feel like it would be.
My problem with
And
that...
it'd be terrible, but it'd be so enjoyable and entertaining in the same respect.
My problem with that is the same problem that I had mentioned earlier, is that if you give Hunk his own series, we're going to have too much screen time for Hunk, which is going to give time to develop him, which is going to be not necessarily what we want. Is there even enough there?
No, I think would it be fun if Hunk was kind of almost more like Godzilla, where he's like just a force of nature. We never see him unmasked. We only see him doing God's fucking work. And he's like talked about like, don't worry about it. Just fucking Hunk's got it.
Hunk's got it.
Like,
Yes, James. I feel like
idea.
you could have a movie and develop literally every other member slightly of his squad, but then keep him as this cold, stoic...
Yeah, no, hear me out. What if he's not even in there? It's kind of writing off your idea. Let's say it's Hunk's star team, whatever, alpha team. And every time they go to a location or something, we see the remnants of Hunk being there.
Okay.
Like he had just kicked ass, and they're like, "Oh, Alpha Team Leader had already made it through, and everyone's just destroyed."
I like that as long as he makes a brief visual cameo towards the end.
They gotta have to have some photo or something of him,
He would go in with him, for the last mission or whatever. But I would like to see him as kind of like a Bigfoot character.
Yeah,
dude, Hunk came through.
That's like it would just be like really shitty. CC footage of him,
this is gonna be Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But
basically, it's just I feel like that would be fucking hilarious. That it's just he would just be treated like
a legend.
Yeah, that would be kind of a lot of fun.
Yeah. What BOWs would you guys like to see in an upcoming movie or series? Because I've got a few on the back burner. Shoot.
Honestly, the BOWs are my least favorite part of Resident Evil, at least the animals, because that takes me out of the setting a little bit, because it's grander, it's a little over the top,
I understand
it makes sense
opposite way, Larry, because the animals make the most sense out of all the creatures, because they're already existing things in nature, and how would they relate or be
I'm saying it makes
manifested
sense
by the...
But in a zombie game, those things are kind of over the top. If the main thing is it's a city game and there's zombies in it, when you bring in a giant tarantula, it kind of pulls you out a little bit.
The tarantula, yes. The snakes, the sharks, the gators, every other bit of wildlife, especially the dog Cerebus. Those are, I feel like, all on point. That it's every animal's going to have a different reaction to the virus, have a different... and they're already existing animals. They're just fucked up and mutated. They're not born out of the lab, brand new creatures.
Right, but a giant frog is more whimsical and fantastical than I think an undead person.
Yeah, it's.
Are you talking about the hunters?
No, I'm talking about just giant animals in general.
Oh, right.
Just a little more whimsical and fantastical than, let's say, an undead person.
But it's to me, it's like certain things I feel like they do is like almost like a callback. Like obviously that giant shark is. Everybody's scared of fucking Jaws.
And that part of the game is scary.
Yeah, and
can you guys name the shark BOW? Because I can.
I don't know.
Is Leviathan?
Names.
Oh, good call, James. But do I get a Applebee's $10 gift card?
No, you already got one.
It is Neptune.
Yeah, I don't remember any other names. I'm like, it's the big snake.
All right, so monsters. Shoot. Larry. What creatures would you like to see that we haven't already seen?
I guess Big Spider. Did we? No, we already got Big Spider in a film, didn't we?
No, I don't think we have.
In the Resident Evil series.
In the series? I mean, they were all in the Resident Evil series, weren't they?
No, they missed a lot.
Just not the shark.
No, they missed more than the shark. What about the hunters? They were the frog-like scaly.
See, I'm not even thinking about the
what about Bandersnatch with the rubber band bang arm?
Rubber.
Give me some Las Plagas, dude. Like, we haven't even stepped into Las Plagas. And you can do so much more with that. But we did have the Chainsaw Man in the Resident Evil series, even though he wasn't a Las Plagas Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man's a Chainsaw Man. I had to say the Giant Croc. Because
we already saw him.
Giant Croc, we got it the last episode of the series. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
Shit, man. Because Giant Croc. There's this one movie back in the 80s called Alligator.
One of many giant alligator movies.
Oh, dude, yeah. It's a giant alligator in a sewer. It scared the shit out of me as a kid.
It's classic.
Fucked me up, dude. I cannot deal with giant I can deal with giant gators in the surface, but not in the sewers.
Okay.
No, it's not gonna fucking happen.
See, I always just thought the Ninja Turtles lived in the sewers, and they got that cool little train station house and everything.
Hey, you know what?
Like, sign me up, dude.
Speaking of which, there was a missed opportunity in thinking about it in Mario, in Super Mario Brothers movie, when Mario is explaining to Peach about like all the turtles on Earth are like pets or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like he should have said. I know of at least 4 that live in a sewer.
Right.
Like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but whatever.
So you'd like to see a giant croc. Larry would like to see a giant spider. I would like to
Las
see
Plagas was my answer.
and Las Plagas. I would love to see Bandersnatch. We kind of got a Bandersnatch like zombie in Return of the Living Dead Part 3 with the punk rocker girl.
Okay.
While they're in the lab, there's one a zombie that's got like its head attached to its shoulder and extra elongated arm, and it cackles and scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Okay.
But I'd like to see Hunters. I'm down with Las Plagas. Maybe squeezing a Neptune in there somewhere.
Yeah, giant zombie sharks are pretty fucking awesome.
Sharks are already terrifying as their own. You fucking pump it full of T-virus, that's
fucked,
at least
It's
twice
terrifying.
Yeah.
With a capital T virus.
Most certainly.
Okay, that was another thing. Towards the last episode of the Resident Evil series, I already put up with all this teen angst and young girl appeal bullshit to the Resident Evil franchise. Like, what if it was about angsty girls just trying to fit into an Umbrella high school? No! We have so many fucking shows like that.
Right.
Watch Sabrina.
Watch
Wednesday. Watch literally anything.
It's really out of place in a Resident Evil game for
or a movie series.
It just doesn't really.
What felt a little pandering and like kind of grabbing or reaching for acceptance was that angsty Billie Irish worshipping bit. What's her name? Jade?
Yeah.
Is that the younger sister though? That's the older sister.
They're twins.
What's the younger one? Who ends up working for Umbrella?
Oh, they're twins.
The other twin.
They were born on the same day.
Okay.
It's Billy. Her name is Billy.
Oh, of course. Just like Billie Eilish, because that's what she's fucking listening to on her headphones.
I thought it was like Billy from Resident Evil Zero.
Yeah, that. Oh, yeah.
No, that's a prison boy.
Well, and that's what I said about the series, that they just took the names from characters throughout the games and slapped them on people just to be like, hey.
So she's supposed to be a legit like gender swap of that Billy?
No, that's what I'm. That's
that's
not what I'm saying. I'm saying they just
speaking
took
of
the
gender
names of the
swap-
characters.
Speaking of gender swap, this brings my next point. Which
No, I don't want to step back into the show or the movie.
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's the end of the episode.
This completes my
it go.
fucking point. This
Okay,
is my
all right.
hot take of the episode.
Okay.
There's all this dialogue when she reunites with her younger sister Billy, Jade and Billy, and after she's been working with Umbrella and becomes basically the new bigwig boss bitch.
She's
of
like
it all.
Wesker. Yeah.
There's a few lines about like how much tea has transformed me, how much tea has changed my life, and I just felt like they're trying to like, oh, trans people, you like Resident Evil too. It felt like
I think you're
trans-pandering.
reaching so hard on that one.
I felt I
So
felt like it was
hard.
trans-pandering.
It's
You
just.
feel like it was?
I do.
I think you're really reaching on that one.
I felt like they were reaching. That's how I took it.
know.
And with the way
that is
everything's
quite,
going,
That is quite the Bandersnatch reach.
Bandersnatch reach around. It reaches for miles, baby.
So, so my final thoughts for both the series and the show. I think I've explained my point and what I would like to see in any following upcoming movies or anything. I doubt that we're actually going to get that, but I will continue to keep giving them my money because that's just the way it goes as a fanboy.
It is.
So just kind of stuck between a boulder and a hard place, and hopefully you're Chris Redfield and you can punch your way out of that one.
This is true. Just got to get those fucking roids going, guys. Come on, man.
So that is the end of our episode today. I'm sure Nick would love to talk about many, many more things, but I have to cut him off because I don't want to edit anything more than an hour-long video, damn it.
We're at an hour 05. Damn it.
God.
And I haven't even got to Nick's sauce corner.
I'm just going to cut 5 minutes of Nick's dialogue out of the episode somewhere. It's like, nope.
Future episodes, Larry's just going to like keep my mic muted, and he's going to let me think I'm talking and contributing to
Just
the
cut
episode.
out 20 minutes worth of footage. No, I would never do that.
I thought both the movie and the series were fun. They were entertaining. The movie is the most Resident Evil like the game,
right.
movie we've gotten so far, but doesn't mean it's good.
Right.
The Resident Evil series literally could have been any post-apocalyptic series,
Boo.
but with a Resident Evil filter, it's still fun and entertaining if you enjoy that kind of shit like I do.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. It's not great, but it's what we got. Kind of like the first Dune movie.
Whoa.
I love David Lynch.
Did
Don't
you just
whoa me.
Oh, the first
I thought
movie. I thought you were talking about
Villain View.
I'm talking about DL.
Okay, you're right.
Okay.
It's what we had besides the series Children of Dune.
I was gonna say, man, shots fired there.
I know. We're starting a new episode right now.
Better hope I have the Chicago typewriter.
But thank you everyone for watching this episode, if you have, and thank you to all of our new subscribers that have clicked.
Very sweet of you. Thank you so much. It's,
joined us to see what's going on, and hopefully we entertain you enough that you stick around, and hopefully we get some new people in the future that want to hang out with us and talk shit. And if you feel like you agree or disagree with anything any of us may have said in this episode,
let
feel
us
free
know
to let us
in
know.
the comments
Yes,
below.
all the hate mail can go right down there. I'm not going to read it anyway, so.
That's right.
I might if I'm like,
He can't handle it.
If I feel like I need to be taken down a notch, then I'll take the hate,
I'll just say there's two things that live underground. Comments and the Hive.
There you go. We'll end it on that. Thank you so much for joining us this week, second week, whatever it may be for this month. And we'll see you on the next one. Take
Later.
it easy.